When you watch the mainstream media news, do you feel a little twitch? Is there a tingle in your left hand? Is your jaw locked? We have the solution. Welcome to Reasonable Arguments, the podcast where thoughtful debate meets unfiltered fun. Coming to you from Sarasota, Florida, we mix informed conservative commentary, playful banter, and just the right amount of nonsense to keep it entertaining. This is Reasonable Arguments, and now your host.
So, Reasonable Arguments is back after, God, I don't know how long, and it's going to look a little different because now I have a new co-host, Danni Miller, who is no relation to Jamie, but might have a little bit different type of commentary coming from her. So we'll see how this goes. But so one of the things we're going to start talking about right away is obviously the Epstein stuff. I mean, this is everywhere. Jamie and I binged the Epstein documentary and the Ghislaine documentary, which was only one episode. The Epstein one was 4. And I told you to watch the Ghislaine one last night. So what are your thoughts, honestly?
Well, I think incredible. Like, she's definitely as evil or more evil than he was.
Right?
I mean, obviously he's to blame. I get it. But first we need to discuss how to pronounce her name, because clearly even in the documentary, they couldn't figure out how to pronounce her name. There are 85 different pronunciations. Not
We'll
that
just
that's
call her
relevant, but
Evil Maxwell.
yeah, evil Maxwell. That's what we should call her. Very narcissistic. Just not a warm vein in her body.
So here's the thought that I got is, they talked a lot about her dad, and, her dad was very much a man like Epstein. And, her mother was this shrinking violet who, wasn't seen out in public. Her father made her go out as kind of almost like his little trophy thing,
Yes,
which
that was
is
so
very sick.
bizarre. Yeah,
So
bizarre.
like when they started talking about after her father died, and she almost needed a man just like him in her life to complete that, right?
Exactly.
And
Yep.
who's to say that she didn't do the
Plus he
same thing for
died,
her
bless
dad?
her. True. He also, when he died, he had embezzled so much money, he left her with $0, and she was not used to living like that. So she had to figure out, how am I going to continue living the way I am used to living?
Exactly. And, it's really just crazy that she was the one who was going out and finding the girls and, bringing them in. I had a conversation with someone this weekend about, victims, because, a lot of in the Epstein documentary, they showed, the girls who were brought in, who were recruiting people. And the argument came about is how do you truly define them as a victim if they're then out recruiting other girls? Like, at what point do they become, not
Complicit.
co-conspirators,
Yeah.
but how, at what point, like, and kind of the argument that was used was, okay, you take a 13-year-old gangbanger who, gets recruited into a gang, starts killing people. Well, why isn't he a victim? Because he was only 13 years old. He was coerced. He was groomed. He was brought in. And it's the same thing with these girls. These girls know exactly what was going to happen. They were bringing girls in to have that happen.
Well, and they
So
were living the life. They were, given all the fancy clothes, and to a 13, 14, 15, whatever, 20-year-old girl, especially, a couple of them were in fashion industry. That meant a lot to them.
right.
So I don't, maybe when you're young and that age, you don't really think about it. But then when you mature and you grow older, you realize, hey, I was really taken advantage of, and I was abused.
Well, and then the argument came up with some of the girls were in their 20s that were
Yeah.
recruited girls. So
Yeah.
are they true victims?
I have a really hard time with that, because when you're 20, you don't make the best decisions, but you can't then go back and say, well, I was only 21 and I made no, you made the decision. You were wrong. I don't know.
Yeah,
I really struggle with that because
I
I
do
don't
too.
see them as a victim at all. Especially the girl that they were talking about on the documentary that worked at Bloomingdale's and worked, she wore the shoes to the
Oh yeah,
all the trial because she was a victim for so long. I thought, you know what? They didn't find you till you were 21. You're not a victim.
the
You
cowboy
could have
boots.
said no. Yeah, no, that's Annie Farmer. I do
Oh,
think she's a victim. She was 16.
oh yeah,
Uh,
she was the one that
the
her
one
sister
that wore
brought
the
her in, right?
loafers. Yes, the
Oh,
loafers.
okay. Yeah.
She worked at a fancy. I think she worked at Tiffany's or something, and they found her there. And then she moved to Bloomingdale's, and they found her there. And then she thought, I'm never getting away, so I'm just gonna do it. Whatever. I thought that was really, really weird, and I did not feel like she was a victim at all.
Oh, and the one, and so Virginia Ratcliffe, I think her name was, or no, Roberts, Virginia Giuffre or Roberts.
Yeah, the one
We
with Prince Andrew.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she's now dead.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, so she had an accident in March. She had a car accident, I believe,
How
and
convenient.
a school bus hit her, and she came through that. And then in August, they are saying that she committed suicide, or in April, they are saying she committed suicide, and they found her on her farm. So, conspiracy theory person in me, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, here it's all coming up again.
Yep.
They're talking about releasing it, and April of 2025, she's now dead, and she's really the only person who named somebody.
Yeah. I think it's really odd that they say in those documentaries that there are over 500 victims. Where are
Yes.
they? Why are they just, are you telling me 500 people don't want to come out and have their 20 minutes of fame? I think
Well,
it's a little
we
odd.
well, Jamie and I had this argument because he's like, why isn't anybody naming anybody? And I said, well, at this point, Epstein's dead. There's no money. They're not going to get anything from this, right? So them coming forward is only putting their name out in the public. They know how many, rich and powerful people are involved in this. Virginia is now dead. She's the one person who named someone, and she's now dead. Why would you even put yourself in that situation
But why is there
to
no money? I mean, Epstein's worth billions. There's got to be
no,
money
he
somewhere.
when he died, he was worth, I think it was 550 million. Not even that much. I'll have to look that up, but I think it was 550 million. But he had so much stuff out, like real estate stuff and everything like that. It was gone. Everything was
Yeah.
gone. And he just, yeah, there wasn't much left. And the girls that came forward are the ones that got the money. But that's really
Which
it.
they made a big
And
deal out of that too, about the girls they're doing this just for the money, to get the money. Well, if they were molested and they were basically prostituted, they should get money.
I think the same thing. I think that if they're willing to put themselves out there, show
Right.
their face, tell their story, and risk whatever could possibly happen,
Well, it
yeah,
was
I think you
evil.
deserve it.
I mean, they were probably scared. The people were dying left and right because of this.
Yeah,
And so they were
exactly.
probably scared too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, okay, so my next question is with Ghislaine, you know, there's absolutely if Trump pardons her, like he honestly needs to watch the documentary. Like he needs to go
Well,
and watch the documentary and realize that she is the one who was bringing all of these girls to him.
and obviously they already know all of this. Why do they need her? They don't need her to tell any more story.
Well, here's and this is where the other problem I think comes in. So, Trump is the one who, shame on him for just opening his big mouth like he does and promising to release these files. He does not have the say to release them. So Bondi is the one right now who is sitting on these files the same way Alexander Acosta did. No one wanted to release these files. Okay, there's something in them, whoever they're protecting, whatever it may be. We know
That's
Trump's
infuriating
name's
in itself.
Right. We know Trump's name's in the files. I mean, that's been said. And then, he goes on TMZ, does a release where, he suggests that his name appears in the Epstein files because his enemies, Joe Biden, James Comey, and Merrick Garland, put his name in there. Well, okay, we know that's not true.
And there
But
are pictures. There are pictures.
there's
And they ran
pictures.
in the same social circles. I mean,
They
she
right.
basically got Epstein into those social circles.
Right.
You're
And
like,
it doesn't mean that he had anything to do with a little girl. It doesn't,
right,
that's not what your name being in the file means,
right.
but so now, they all this has come to light. All, they're trying to, and are they trying to uh prolong it? Are they trying to make it to where, Ghislaine now releases all these names, and she's this great person because now she released all the names. We're going to pardon her and, let bygones be bygones. I
No,
don't
I
think
hope
that
that
should
doesn't happen.
happen.
I don't think that should happen either. She should.
I mean,
They
because
should
who's
say.
to
They should
say
say,
she?
we're going to retry you, and in order to stay off death row, you better tell us.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
They have not been hard enough on her at all. I just think that. Well, everybody kept saying, we have the files. She said, Pam Bondi, the files are sitting on my desk. Kash
Yeah.
Patel, we are going to make this right. And then, and you know me, I am always a Trumper. I'm never going to be against him in any way, shape, or form, unless it comes out that he was a diddler. But I really don't think that he did anything to little girls.
a
But
diddler.
that would be the only reason I would, turn against him. But for him to get out there and say, we're still talking about this, you're still talking about this creepy guy. Yes, we are, because this affects over 500 little girls. What if that was your little girl or your granddaughter? Yes, we are talking about it because it needs, the people that did this and bought and took those little girls in need to be punished, period.
Well, and he brought it on himself because he campaigned about it. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
going to release the Epstein files. Okay,
Yeah.
so why? Why is that? Because, I mean, honestly, do you think that
Every
had
congressman
he
and
not
senators going down, that's probably why they aren't
say that
doing it.
again?
Every congressman, everybody in the
Oh,
House, everybody everywhere is going down.
well, I think, I think one of the things that and they said this in both documentaries, is it's not so much about politicians as it is about large business owners and CEOs of large businesses that
Again,
are,
why do we care about that? They made bad
well,
choices. They
because if
made
these
bad
companies,
decisions.
well, think about if these companies go down, like we're talking major corporations, right?
I know,
And
call me
but I
ignorant,
said the
but
same thing.
yeah, if you want, but I just think, so be it. So be it.
I agree. I agree. I mean, it's out there now. He promised that the files would be released. It's up to Bondi now, and I kind of did a rabbit hole search on her because I don't know how I feel about her, and
Well, there's
just
some
seeing.
conspiracy theory around her ex-husband.
Well, she's been married twice, engaged, and now she's dating someone. And I dug, and both of them seem to be pretty squeaky clean. Nothing really
Okay,
came out,
good.
whether or not, but I mean, but Alexander Acosta didn't release anything either. So there's something in there that nobody needs to see.
Yeah.
And that's
What are
what I
they?
said in my Substack, is that, okay, if it is politicians, if that's what it comes down to, then who do people trust? At that point, who does anybody trust?
I know, it's scary.
And
We
then there
need
was
Jesus.
one of my friends put on one of the posts on Facebook about another show called The Candyman and the Clown, or The Clown and the Candyman, which was about John Wayne Gacy
Oh,
and another serial killer, and of young boys. So this was all boys.
okay.
And it was kind of like the same type of thing. It was these two who murdered and, raped and everything, young boys, and kind of trafficked young boys. But then there was this other guy, this John David Norman, who basically had this ring of young boy sex trafficking going on. And it was back in the
Where was he
day.
getting the boys? Like,
Recruiting them from just different areas, and the same type of thing, except he ran off of index cards. And every time I think he was arrested twice. And the first time that he was arrested, he went into jail. He met another guy who worked with John Wayne Gacy, who was getting out of jail first. And when he got out of jail first, he went and basically started up the business again, had it running good. David Norman, Cheeto, John David Norman got out of jail and got right back into it. So, and then he got arrested again. Everything was seized. All the index cards with all the kids' names on it were seized. And somehow, miraculously, all of these cards disappear. So it's like, you have to think that if Ghislaine gets out of jail, what's going to stop her from not going right back into it?
or somebody taking her out.
I don't think anybody takes her out. I think she gets right back into it with one of the men that was, involved in it anyway. It'd be, she'd go to a different country and start it all up again. She has
Wow.
the connections.
Right. Well, and she was the mastermind of all of it anyway.
She was the
She
mastermind of
she
it all.
gave Epstein all the connections. She's the one that helped him, get his name out there and rise in the circles of the, elites.
Yes. Absolutely.
Crazy.
All
Crazy.
right. So let's talk Russiagate.
Well,
What are your thoughts on
apparently,
Russiagate?
I don't know. It's so maddening because again, nothing's going to happen. I mean, Trump said himself, Obama won't be prosecuted if in fact that, we already, I think there's plenty of proof out there, right? That it depends on who you
Oh,
talk to, I guess, but there seems to be plenty of proof out there that he was behind the whole thing. But Trump already said he'll never be prosecuted because he has immunity. Kind of the whole thing where Trump couldn't be prosecuted because he has immunity. And so I'm thinking, you know what? I think it's great for Trump because, in fact, he didn't do the things that he was accused of. But it isn't great for Obama because he did do those things. So am I to understand that when you are the president of the United States, you can do anything you want to do, get away with whatever you choose to do, and there will be no punishment?
I don't think I've heard that they've had immunity. Immunity for what? If you're
Because he was
committing
the president.
crimes,
Yeah, he was the president, so he can't be prosecuted. I read that somewhere like last week that because that Trump said Obama will not be prosecuted. I hope it's wrong. I think Obama should be prosecuted. I think Hillary should be prosecuted. You know, it's treason. If you did a crime, you do the time, period. And they constantly love to throw around nobody's above the law. Well, we can clearly see that there are people that are above the law.
it has to be looked at, and even if one person goes down for it, and I
He's the
think
fall
that's
guy.
enough. And they have, take Comey out.
Oh,
He's done
he
enough
should
shit,
definitely
and
go down. Yeah. Yeah. And they're
someone
arrogant
has
and
to.
so cocky about this whole situation.
Well, that's what back to the Epstein thing. I saw an interview with Chuck Schumer, and the reporter said, how come you weren't this hell bent on having these files released when Biden was in office? And he's like, I was, that you're just lying. I wanted to get these released, and going back and looking at it, it's not true. It's
Well, and I
just
think,
now that Trump is front and center.
yeah. Well, and I think too, if Trump was implicated in any of that, they had all that information while Biden was in office, they would have hung him.
Exactly.
They would have loved
Exactly. There wouldn't
nothing
have been
more
any
than like,
question.
yes. So that's why the other part of me is like, he's not implicated because they would have taken full
No,
advantage of that.
Do I mean, I believe that he he obviously he was at the parties, obviously he was whatever, but I do not believe, and I think there was another interview that said that he was never at the island. He was invited, but he never
Right.
went. He declined
Right.
it, you know.
Well, and the big thing
And
I think with him too is that he doesn't drink alcohol. So he doesn't alcohol makes you uninhibited, So I
yeah.
think, he is able, and I'm not saying that he's a saint because I know he isn't, but it gives you more thought. You put more thought into something, this is really not a good decision when you're sober.
Yeah. Well,
So,
and honestly, with Trump, I think he had his own thing going. I mean,
right.
what did he need Epstein for? Quite
Yeah,
honestly,
exactly. Right, exactly.
it just really makes you wonder how deep and dirty just every aspect of power and, you know,
Yeah.
rich and
And
all of
and
that
that
is.
goes exactly, that goes back to the Russiagate. I just truly do not believe that anyone's going to be punished for it because the rich and powerful are all involved.
Well, do you think
Even
that
Comey,
Tulsi?
even Comey, I don't think he'll be face any jail time or any of that.
Well, do you think that Tulsi Gabbard's really going to let it go? I mean, she's in the position
No.
now where she can push it,
Yeah.
and it's getting
No,
enough
and I'm so
publicity
thankful
that
that at least exactly, at least it's staying on the forefront of everybody's mind and they're not going to let it just lie. And I hope they keep it going until something happens.
yeah.
Same with the Hillary, all the stuff that Hillary has done, you know, to this country. That regime basically almost took this country down,
Well, and
and
that's
I would love
exactly
to
it. I
see
mean,
some people go down.
and I mean, and who do you think the ringleader is?
Obama and Hillary, or
For
maybe
sure.
not. Maybe there's, Rothschild or, any of those,
Sources.
underworld people that commoners like me do not know about. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think there's, people even above Soros that are kind of pulling the strings.
Which is just crazy, right? I
It's
mean,
it's
it's just, uh, I,
and it's
I don't
evil.
know.
It's like the underbelly of stuff that we don't want to know about.
I think what's crazy to me is that we are 7 months in to his administration. 7 months. So we still have 3 years
Yes, it's like
of
nothing.
people digging, and what else is going to be uncovered in the next 3 years that is going to probably just shake the foundation of America, quite honestly. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
and I
frightening.
and I think it's good. I think it's good. It is frightening, but I think it is. It's necessary. We needed this, and not to bring religion into it, but I just do believe that God is really working in our country, and we need Him to work in our country. So, for those that don't believe in God, I'm sorry. I hope I don't offend you, but I cannot apologize for God because
No.
He's working.
Oh, I agree with you. What other things do you have that you've seen? Anything exciting?
Um, well, the shooting last night in New York.
Oh yeah.
Have you heard about that at all?
I've seen a little bit of it.
Pretty crazy. And the thing that I think is the most fascinating about this whole thing is he wasn't this is not for sure, but the speculation is that he was not going for BlackRock or any of that. He was going for the NFL because he says he has CTE from playing football. So,
Listen,
you know what
that is a
CTE is?
real
The
thing.
brain.
Yeah, did you ever see the movie
Yeah,
Concussion?
yeah,
So I worked in the same
I did.
hospitals
I did.
with Dr. Baroon, and that's with now his name's gonna freaking menopause me, and I can't remember names at all.
Well, one of my favorite football players of all time is Junior Seau.
Oh
And I
yeah.
just remember all the stuff that he went through. And that's kind of when it started to come to the forefront. And I thought, how sad, because what an amazing human he was. So kind and sweet. And then just to have that traumatic brain injury, it changed him. It changed his
Well,
whole
and
life. And,
wasn't he the
no
one
way
that
out other than to commit suicide.
committed suicide and then left a note saying like, "Please check my brain"? Yeah, that
Yes.
is,
Yes.
yeah. So what happened with his story? So this guy was he an basketball player or football player?
He was a football player. They haven't said whether he's college or NFL. I don't think he played in the NFL, but maybe he played in Canada. That full story of that hasn't come out yet, but he did say that football has caused him to have brain injury, and he left a note, and he wants his brain to be looked at. Um, and I mean, he drove all the way from Las Vegas over several days to make it to that building.
Wow.
So it's pretty scary. And he had antipsychotics in his truck or car for mental
Oh
illness.
my God.
So I don't I,
It's
I don't
just
know if antipsychotic medicine helps with the brain for CTE, but I believe it's real. It's sad. It's really sad to see somebody just who is otherwise a normal, amazing human being, and then they get this, get their head cracked a couple of times with tackles or whatever it might be, and it changes them, changes their whole personality.
yeah,
We take that for granted, how
it's a horror.
delicate the brain is, I guess.
Oh, for
So
sure.
that's crazy. But he shot a New York City police officer he was doing security detail, but he was in uniform, and he's dead. He killed him, and he was, I think, 36 with two little boys and a baby on the way. And then I think
Oh
he
my
killed four
God.
other people. So it's a pretty sad day in New York, especially New Yorkers, because they still probably have PTSD from 9/11. So when stuff like
I
that
can't even
happens, you
imagine.
scramble, right? They put
Yeah.
pictures in Black Rock. These guys that were working still late at night there had couches and desks and everything barricading themselves into their office. So scary.
Oh,
But I think on a lighter note, I feel like Trump was very productive this last few days with all this
he
tariff talk.
has. It's funny because I look at social media a lot to see what is really triggering the Democrats
Uh-huh.
and, what's making them speak out. And of course, Epstein has been the one thing.
It'd be a shorter list to find out what isn't triggering them.
The one I was going to say, they have not really complained about tariffs. They haven't, there hasn't really been any word about that.
Even
Nobody's
Bill
losing their
Maher, did you
retirement
see the
anymore.
interview?
And you,
Yeah, the interview with Bill
yes,
Maher. I
yeah,
thought that's great. We're getting somewhere now. Colbert gets fired, and
yeah.
Bill Maher
I mean,
says
it's
tariffs are working.
so now it's the whole Epstein thing. Of course they're skirting the Russiagate thing. Because Obama can do no wrong and their side can do
Right.
no wrong.
Did you see any of the stuff off the summit that they did for Gen X? Oh
No.
my gosh, it was so bizarre. Like they had people come out and introduce themselves and they were young. She was probably maybe 25. Hi, my name is so and so. I go by she, her, they, them. Um, and that was the introduction. And then they had this guy that had a panda head on and he's using like the F word every other word. And I thought, oh my goodness, who are they trying to reach? Anyone who's going to watch this is so cringy that they it was bizarre.
What was
Bizarre.
the point of it?
Just so out of touch to try to get in touch with Gen X.
Oh my God.
And
They
one
need
girl
look.
says,
Cheeto
we're
came to
in a
see you.
climate catastrophe.
They are just I don't even know. I just they're so out of touch and just so it's such a personality conflict. That it's I don't even think it's that they dislike what Trump's doing. They just hate him.
Yeah, and
Period.
they're so out of touch they don't even know how to like bounce back. They don't even know where to start. But I'm
Right.
telling you, a chubby boy in a panda mask is not it.
That didn't reach you?
No, it was so like I feel like I'm so embarrassed for you.
Oh my God.
There is a lot going on, a lot to talk about. I love the whole UK or EU deal that he just made. Um, I think it's crazy that the old Russian president is basically threatening us with war if we put any tariffs or anything else on Russia. So there's always a lot to talk about.
There,
Never a dull moment
he
right now.
he is nonstop. And I'll tell you, one of the things that I'm extremely happy about is that he went to the doctor and figured out his issue with his swollen ankles,
Uh-huh.
because of course that was a big conspiracy on,
Oh,
what that
yes.
was.
He was going to die
And
yesterday. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But I mean, the man
Uh-huh.
never sits down.
Uh-huh.
I mean, he's
Exactly.
constantly on the go,
Or
and
on the plane. That can't be good for you. You
no,
know, up and down in the air all the time. And
it just really makes me crazy that people are just trying to take him
well,
down in any way, shape, or form.
they can't even appreciate and be happy for how well the country is because of their blinded hatred for him.
Yes.
Sad. It's really sad.
Exactly.
You've got to celebrate the wins of America because at the end of the day, we're all Americans and we can all have reasonable arguments.
Have you ever been out to the White House website?
No.
It's whitehouse.gov. And if you ever go out to the website, they have listing of everything that he has done, every memo he's put out, every executive order he signed, anything
Wow.
that he's doing in the news. And, I think if people looked at this more and just seeing the things that he has truly done in the last 7 months, people would have to shut up. I mean, because there's just so much that he's doing that isn't even being talked about. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, but they just
So,
can't. They couldn't bring themselves to do that because then they would have been wrong all along, or, they would have to admit something, or, rather than celebrating the victories of their country, their hatred is just too strong to even see past that,
yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm looking at one now that on July 24th, it was an executive order that he signed ending vagrancy and restoring order. So it says that he signed an executive order to restore order to American cities and remove vagrant individuals from our streets, redirecting federal resources towards programs that tackle substance abuse and returning to the acute necessity of civil commitment.
I love that.
And
So you mean he's ending the people like in San Francisco where they bring them drug bags full of paraphernalia and drugs so that they don't
yeah,
use dirty needles? Thank you, Trump.
yeah,
Thank you. I mean,
yeah.
in what
I mean,
world was that all right?
people
Common
they're not,
sense.
it's common sense. And
Yeah.
but again, our media doesn't put out positive stuff. They never
Yes,
do.
that's true. He's
They
definitely
never put
working
out.
against the media all the time, which is sad because they want to see their country succeed. I would hope. I wish. I mean, it's showing, and then the proof is in the pudding. Their networks are going down because all people want is the truth. They don't want you to
Yeah.
spin it. Just tell us what's going on. That's why people watch the news. And they
Yeah.
can watch things like The View if they want distorted opinions. That is not the news. The news should say what is in the news, not what is in my opinion about the news.
Well, and I guess that, okay, so let's talk about free speech then. I mean, should a non-government owned or non-public owned news media have to report unbiased?
I mean, it's free speech, but if it's publicly funded, yeah. If it's funded
Oh,
like
if it's
like
publicly
if
funded,
it
for sure.
yeah, yes. But if it's private, hey, I guess you get to spin it how you want. Like Meta, Facebook does whatever the
Yeah.
heck they want. But there should be some boundaries if it's going to hurt people or if it's, pornography or suicidal stuff, then yeah, they should be held accountable. But it's a really slippery slope with the First Amendment, I guess, right? But slander is a thing too, you know?
That absolutely. And Trump suing everybody. I mean, like getting the late show turned off and everything like that. Is it right or wrong?
I don't think Trump got this late show turned off. They were bleeding money. I mean, they had such a huge cast. It might have been a contributing factor, but I think that he just wasn't funny. They weren't good. Nobody was watching. They were operating in the red so far that they couldn't justify keeping them on. So they can blame Trump if they want, but that's simply not true. And you know what? If you want to slander people and call them a felon and call them, whatever they call them, then there's some accountability there too for somebody else.
That is
Especially when
true.
you're talking to 25 people, all 25 people that watched that show.
I'm excited, and I
Good.
appreciate you doing this with me.
Hopefully we did okay.
Oh, I'm sure we did. And I can
Okay.
edit it to make it sound like we did anyway.
Good. Thank you.
All right. Have a wonderful day, and I
too.
will talk to you later.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Bye.
This has been Reasonable Arguments, News and Nonsense. There is so much BS on the mainstream media news, but you knew that. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. See you next time as husband and wife duo Jamie and Jennifer keep it real on Reasonable Arguments.